The Solo Show is brought to you, as always, by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney in the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com. Coming up on The Solo Show.
I feel like watching the show that I'm stuck on the island with them, and like you grow to love these characters, right? You know, and I'm sure when they live together, they grow to love each other in a certain way. They're having this great experience together, but I'm sure there's also times where they annoy the hell out of you.
Stan and Dan are talking about the penultimate episode of Survivor Season 46, Mama Bear. What they enjoyed, what they're looking forward to, and don't forget the big finale is coming up in just a week. So grab a snack, light your torch, and let's get ready.
I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and I specialize in living near Disney World. I work directly with you. I'm not a referral agent. A referral agent takes your name, takes your number, and then sells you to a random agent for a stake in that commission. When you call me, you get me, and I am there for you from the initial consultation through to closing and all the steps in between. You get me. Now, if you want to reach me, visit disneyatyourdoorstep.com for all my links, and you will get me.
And when you do get Victor, tell him the Solo Show sent you. As I sit here near the campfire being devoured by the boola-boola flies and playing a game of connect the mosquito bites, thinking how did I ever get roped into this, I am asking myself this question over and over again, and then I think, this is the second to last show that we will be doing from here on the island. And I am asked to say this because Ken is somewhere bathing in a bath of calamine lotion. I must say for him, sound the horn.
Thousands apply, but only 18 are chosen to be abandoned in Fiji for the adventure of a lifetime. Who will have what it takes to outwit, outplay, and outlast all the rest? Survivor 46!
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Solo Show. I am Stan Solo as always, and today we're talking Survivor Episode 12, Season 46, Mama Bear. The original air date of May 15, 2024 on CBS, and then streaming the next day on Paramount+. So we're going straight into spoilers. So this is your spoiler alert. I should get an alarm or something. But anyways, if you haven't watched it yet, it's on you. We're going into spoilers. But I'm not doing this alone. I'm going to call in your friend and mine. Come on in, Dan. Dan, what did you think of this week? Or sorry, how are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And what did I think about this week? I mean, we were joking around before we pressed record, but like, I feel like I've seen this episode before. Haven't you?
Yeah. I think that the writer's strike happened it started like 3 weeks ago or whatever. And they had like, okay, we're going to have a guy with an idol in his pocket and he's going to get voted off. And then there was a writer's strike. So the producers didn't know what to do. So they just kept using the same script every week.
Yeah. A little tweak. We're going to talk about a little tweak I noticed in a little bit, but
all right,
they're trying to change it up a little bit.
So we kind of go step by step on these. I find it easier to edit it that way or to get my notes that way instead of bouncing all over the place. But previously on Survivor, you had that same old foreshadowing we had the last 3 weeks where the person that voted off had an idol in their pocket. And Venus, of course, was no different. I have an idol in my hand. I'm not going home today. And we all know she did. And then they had the pizza meal discussion that Maria had to make, and she was, heartbroken over that. The next scene was Charlie talking about how it's time to get rid of I never pronounce the name, Maria.
Yep, Maria.
Yeah. And something on Survivor, the first person that they say that's who I'm going to vote out, that's who's going home, they're safe for the week. So as soon as I knew that, that was Dan's pick to be safe. So that's not going to work. She's safe. As soon as the first person that they mentioned is going to be going home. And Venus gets voted off with an idol in her pocket. There are more idols at Ponderosa than there have ever been idols, I think.
Crazy, right? They have a producer, an idol producer, like, a company that makes idols. Yeah. And they're making phone calls frantically, like, we need more idols, quick.
That's more idols. They keep stealing them. They leave the show with them in their pocket. So then, as the show starts off, we're back at camp, and Kenzie wants to know who voted for her. See, who voted for me? I thought we were all voting who was Venus. I thought we were all voting Venus. Who voted for me? And then Ben, her best friend there. Well, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. I had a brain fart. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I was blank. I wrote your name down.
I don't believe it for a second, Stan. Do you believe it?
No.
I mean, I don't. I mean, I gave my explanation on last week's episode of why, and it made perfect sense. And I'm very curious to see after the season ends or after Ben gets voted out, if he gets voted out, if like he comes clean, because I don't know. I just don't see how it's possible. I really don't. I get that your mind is all, crazy and jumbled and your brain doesn't work, but come on. I mean, like, no one, even Jeff was just like, I don't think so. Would he say something like,
where you're going
you were questioning? You were questioning.
You can see the cameraman and the sound guy kind of looking at each other. Going, what? Oh man. So either he's really, really dumb. It's a really dumb lie, or that's the quote of the week. One or the other. That's
yeah, right.
I don't think it's like quote of the week, but I came close. So this time Maria goes to the upside down canoe to pout. Yeah. That's like the timeout corner.
Pouting area.
Timeout area.
Like the timeout area. That's good.
Yeah. Like the Academy Awards, they have it's the laugh and cry section after you win the Academy Awards.
Yeah,
Room you go into before you see the press. And that's where they completely break down, start crying. Then they have makeup artists there to prepare your makeup again before you go out to see the press. That's what that canoe is. So Charlie told her not to worry about it. It was a unanimous decision to vote her out, other than Ben getting confused. So Charlie kind of calms Kenzie down, saying it's not that bad. So we had the intro music, and then we get into the show. I like it when they get the intro music out of the way early instead of you're 20 minutes into the show and then they're like, "What? Don't we play the intro now?" Like, it always sets me off. I don't know.
Yeah, I there has been some times where I'm like surprised a little bit. Like, what? Why are they doing the intro music halfway through the episode?
Yeah. So it's nighttime, everyone's asleep, and then Ben wakes up with an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
And this has been happening more and more lately, we find out. And Kenzie helps him calm down and walking with him and all that. So I think that they never brought it up before. Now, was this to kind of punctuate his point for why he wrote her name down, you think? And why it made it even look even worse because she's the one that took care of him every night?
Well, I think it's why he's lying about it. That's my personal feeling. Okay. That's why he doesn't want to, hurt her feelings, because she is the one that's taking care of him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah. I could be wrong.
And then we get the biggest news of the season. Liz had a BM for the first time since day one. And we're now on day 21. And she makes an announcement to the rest of the group.
I feel like watching the show that I'm stuck on the island with them. And like, you grow to love these characters, right? And I'm sure when they live together, they grow to love each other in a certain way. They're having this great experience together. But I'm sure there's also times where they annoy the hell out of you. And Liz is at that point with me where I'm like, oh, come on.
But you know what? I kind of feel for her because I haven't gone 21 days without going, right. But I have issues with my nerves happening from time to time, my pinched nerves, sciatic, and all that. And there's been times when I've gone like 3 or 4 days, and I start getting seriously worried. I couldn't imagine going 20 days or 21 days without. Right. Like I'd drop out by that point. I think you have to give me some, because you're afraid your innards are going to explode or something. Mind you, she's not really taking in anything either. So so Charlie is making a plan to get Maria or Q out this week. That's his plan. And Maria's kind of making not quite yet. It wasn't until after she starts thinking. So we go to the reward challenge, and it's your standard challenge: up and down a bunch of obstacles, crossing a ladder bridge, moving a bag through a rope, and freeing that bag. Then you got to crawl for a little bit, holding that little ball, and then or that bag, and you open the bag, and you got a maze puzzle. It's like standard issue Survivor challenge. So the reward though is Chinese food at Sanctuary, and those little white boxes will be waiting for you. And you can have, I get Chinese food from time to time. I've never ever had those little white boxes, and I've always been curious because I always see them on TV shows and all. Is that how it is in New York?
Yeah, if you order it by like the pint. If you order a meal like beef and broccoli lunch meal or dinner meal, then it comes in a little tray. But if you just order a pint of beef and broccoli, it comes in the white box. Yes.
Okay. What about like a thing of noodles? It comes in a white box.
Yep.
Yeah. See, we don't have those here.
Wow.
I've never ever seen that in my life, other than on TV and movies.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, styrofoam containers or foil trays with plastic lids, that type of stuff only.
Wow.
Yeah. And I always thought it was like a made up thing, like because I've never ever had it.
You know where else it probably doesn't come in white boxes? China, I bet you.
Probably not. Probably not. It's a very even. It was a very even challenge. Like it was close. Like everybody was at the.
Yes.
I like it when it's close like that. And I find myself when it's like that, I'm cheering for every one of them. Every
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like you have your favorites, but like you also want to see some of the other ones like come back. You know, you want to make it exciting. So I do find myself cheering a lot for multiple people throughout the challenge. For the second challenge, I was watching it with my 5-year-old who thought that was the perfect time to ask a million questions about how Survivor works. So I had to play the game with the remote control, like pausing it, like, oh, come on.
Miss those days. Now I'm the one asking my daughter a million questions while we're watching TV. And Charlie has the advantage. I thought he was going to win this because you know why?
Why is that?
Well, he practices grip strength, and you have to grab those ropes to do it.
So you know, that's actually a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
I guess he didn't practice aiming when he was doing his grip strength training. So Liz uses Liz sticks her leg up to kind of show herself where the ball is supposed to go. She can't do that with her eyes.
This is what I'm saying, where it's to the point where I'm like, oh gosh, you know, she's like, oh, I'm bleeding. Like, oh,
yeah. That's blood's dripping down her leg.
Like focus. And I do think, you know, we're joking around about it, but I don't know. Like I look a lot at the editing and I feel like they're editing her to look like, give her reasons why she's going to lose in the finals. Like that's how I feel this. That's why I feel this editing is there. It's making her look less smart than what she actually is. We've talked about how she has multiple businesses and a millionaire. But you can't make her look like that and then lose in the finals. So that's why my feeling is she's going to make the finals and lose because and probably lose big, like no votes. You know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah. Yep. So Charlie wins reward. So then we find out it's more than just Chinese takeout in the little white boxes waiting for him. Jeff sweetens the deal by having letters from home, he announces. And now everybody's breaking down. Everybody wants to go on this trip. Can you remember when Jeff said Applebee's was the biggest reward of the season? I'm beginning to think maybe that wasn't the biggest reward because letters from home could be a big boost.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that bourbon chicken though, sometimes I might take that over a letter from my son. You know, we'll say. Okay. You know. I'm joking, Connor.
Yeah. So Charlie chooses Liz first, and he has to pick one more person. So 3 are going to be going, and 3 are going to be staying. It's a tough decision. Like, geez, man, that's like
tough spot. Yeah, tough spot to be in all the time.
Yeah. So he picks Kenzie because Kenzie really hasn't gone on any of these rewards yet.
Yeah.
And Maria just breaks down. It's breaking her heart not to see these letters. She's like totally upset by it. Okay, fine. I don't know what else to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think ultimately I don't think there was too much controversy because like they even admitted that Maria and Charlie had this like side deal where they're never going to take each other on a reward so that they're not seen as a huge threat together. The 3 of them had gotten pizza the first week, so Charlie had his mind made up that the other 3 were going to get food this week if he won.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It was like, I don't think there was too much controversy. I mean, yeah, of course you're upset you don't get the letter, so Maria's crying. But at the end of the day, I think like they all were like, yeah, I get it. You know, that's the right thing to do.
So we get to the sanctuary, and you notice on the little white boxes it had sanctuary written on them.
Yes, I did notice that.
I like that. We don't get sanctuary written on our boxes either here. So I think it would be awkward. I thought about this time. Like you're sitting down to eat, and there's 3 of them at a table. On one side, you got these cameras facing at you. The other side, like I think it get kind of awkward eating in a situation like that. I don't know, just an observation.
Yeah. I think that's true with all reality, right? You have camera on your face at all times, but I guess you get used to it after a while.
Yeah. So Maria's back at camp crying. Something died in me today. Not to get those letters, and that was the one that fooled me last week, where I thought maybe she was going to have a medical emergency or something.
Yep. Gotcha. I was thinking that. I'm like, oh, there's the stand that Stan got right there.
Yeah. And then she says, it's like having bear cubs on the mama bear. And that's where we got the title for the episode. And, but she says it lit a fire under her. So I guess so. Liz is crying with excitement getting the letter from her daughter, of course. Kenzie is planning on getting married. That week.
Yeah, crazy, right?
And they had to move the wedding date so she could be on Survivor. And so she got the letter. I think that was really good that she got her letters.
Yep.
Charlie says, you watch Survivor and you see these people crying reading their letters and you think, well, they're just overacting. And he says, but it's true. It's like you're not being over dramatic. He says, this is how we are. You notice that Charlie had a 22 stamped on his hand?
I did notice that.
What was that all about?
I'd like to hear your thoughts first, and then
my thought is that it's day 22.
Okay. It feels like the perfect night to dress up like hipsters and make fun of our exes. Yeah. What do you think about that line? That's a Taylor Swift line from the song 22. And all Swifties put numbers on their hands at concerts. Also, it was day 22. So I think you put all that stuff together. It's a Swiftie thing to do. It's a famous Taylor Swift song. It's day 22. Swifties put numbers on their hands. That's what it seems like it was, right?
Okay. I had no knowledge that Swifties do that.
Shows your age.
Yeah.
Wait, you're telling me you haven't been to a Taylor Swift concert, Sam?
I keep meaning to watch it on Disney Plus. I'll go watch it one of these days. Just to. I don't think I even know I can't name one of her songs at all.
Now you can. 22. I just told you.
Oh yeah, go on. I'm gonna go head to head against Charlie. I'll just keep saying 22. So Q's out looking for the hidden immunity idol again. He's been looking for days and days. He's been looking. He says they make it look so easy on TV, but it's not. You got to hunt for him.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he found it. So now I know who's going home.
And then that's a good point. But by the way, I was thinking, because we've talked about like, well, are the other two idols out there too hidden, right?
Yeah.
And when you said that, like, oh, it's so hard and I've been hunting for days, I'm thinking to myself, holy cow, like it really like made me think about it after watching Survivor for all these years, how hard it must be. Because we think there's multiple idols out there. So assuming that's true, and it may not be true, but assuming that's true, that means he's looking for, he could find either of the three and he still can't find it. Right. Yeah. So, it makes you think, wow, it must be really hard to find these things.
Or the Survivor idol hiders getting better at hiding them.
Yes, that could be too. Yeah. That could be too. I've always thought that, like sometimes they're hidden really hard. And then when a certain person's looking, they get changed to an easier spot. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Maybe. See, my battle plan for looking for idols if I was on Survivor is to not follow somebody else. My idea would be to follow the cameraman, because they always do it where a Survivor player will walk right by an idol and the cameraman will follow them and will zip over to the tree trunk or to the branch where the idol actually is, that they were so close missing it. And say, oh, that's where it is, right where the guy zoomed in on. So Q is talking to Maria, saying hopefully Charlie isn't planning anything with those girls. Maria says Charlie wouldn't do that, but it might be time to get him out. So Maria's starting for the first time thinking it's time to get rid of Charlie. And same time, Charlie, well, the way they edited it, Charlie's saying, I love Maria to death, but it might be time to get her out.
I actually thought that was beautifully done for Survivor fans, the way they cut the scenes every 4 or 5 seconds. From Maria in her confessional talking about how she thinks Charlie's never going to blindside her. And then Charlie says, Maria's taking me to the end. I know she is. And Maria says, I got to get rid of him. And Charlie says, I got to get rid of her. It was that's what Survivor's all about. That what gets like us fans like excited, They
almost could have put a split screen up and have them both saying it at the same time. So they're both gunning for each other. So day 23, we head to immunity challenge. Charlie has to change the date on his hand now. Has to scrub off one of those 2s and write a 3.
And Taylor Swift has to write a new song.
And Taylor Swift has to write a new song. So it's the water challenge. So you have to leap off a tall bridge, swimming obstacles. You then got to build a puzzle. So Maria / Mama Bear has a pretty decent lead after the balance beam. She was in there. Liz says she's so bad at that. She says, I'm so bad at puzzles. Okay, Liz, what are you good at? Because you're not good at climbing, you're not good at swimming, you're not good at building puzzles, you're not good at tightrope walking.
It's what I'm saying. Like they're emphasizing these like things that Liz is saying. She says it again in tribal council. Like, like, oh, I'm not good at anything. Don't vote Liz. Like they're just throwing too much of that out, right? And there's there's, you could edit some of the stuff out, not edit it in. And I feel like they're over editing it in with her.
Yeah. You know what she's good at? Letting everybody know when she's pissed. That's what she's
That she has no problem with.
Yeah, that she's good at. So Ben has a decent lead on this puzzle. Like for a second there, it looked like he had it. It would have been good at feathering his cap to win something. Like, Jesus.
I know. I agree.
And Charlie's just completely lost making this puzzle. Like he spent more time looking at everyone else's puzzle than his own. He didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden Maria takes off and passes Ben on the puzzle. I think what Maria did, and this is what I would probably do, is she probably built it in front of her on the table.
Yeah.
And then it was just a matter of putting the pieces in place.
I agree. I think that's what happened. I mean, that seems logical. It was going way too fast compared to the way Ben was doing it, where I'm thinking to myself, Ben, what's taking so long here? Like, what are we doing? Like, you're at the point where,
but I don't know why more people don't do it that way. Like, build it on the ground or on the table or something first, and then transfer it. So Maria wins immunity. This is her third immunity challenge she won, putting her one shy from the elite group of women that have won 4 immunity challenges in a single season.
Yeah,
so,
that's crazy.
My fingers are kind of crossed for her for next week to win immunity again.
Yeah, and I think, we'll talk about it, but I think if she does, it's going to be very hard for her not to win.
Yeah. And this is a big win for her because there's a good chance she was going home tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So we get back at camp. Ben is ready to get rid of Q. Kenzie's ready to get rid of Q. Charlie's ready to get rid of Q. Liz is ready to get rid of Q. And Q is ready to get rid of Charlie. And Maria's ready to get rid of Charlie. Well, I think we kind of know who's going home. Other than Q does have an idol. So they dangle that carrot in front of us, so we keep watching.
Yep.
Otherwise, he could have turned it off at that point. So the strategy is simple. Just don't tell Maria or Q that we're all voting Q. That's but we've seen those strategies not work in the past.
Yep. And think about how smart it was. I felt like maybe they were building up Charlie too when he focused on telling everyone, don't tell Maria, right? Mm-hmm. Because like there's no way that they know, like they don't know Q has an idol, and they obviously don't know that Q told Maria he has an idol, right? So it was a very smart move not to include Maria in on the entire game plan.
Yeah.
But then kind of make it leak that only Charlie's going to vote, right? Like I thought it was a very, very brilliant move by that side of the group.
Well, that's just it. And like Maria even says to Q, you might get one vote, and that's going to be from Charlie, but everyone else is voting for Charlie.
Yep.
So you're good. Get to tribal council. The jury, I like how the jury is looking to see who has a necklace around the neck. They walk in, it's Maria again. Yeah, they're kind of, it holds big, they say you got to build your resume. I think that necklace is a big resume builder with the juries. Walking in, I like how Ben says, Jeff, we have a show for you tonight. You know what he's trying to do?
What's
Get
that?
Some popcorn or some licorice.
Oh, good. Yeah. That's what Jeff says. He goes, I didn't bring popcorn today.
Yeah, because the last 2 times they had a big show, they got something. So they talk about the reward that Charlie won. Do you think the people in the jury got their letters? Is a question I have. Because everyone wrote letters, like all the family members did. So people in the jury at the Ponderosa, it would be nice if they get their letter. I'd like to, if I ever get to interview a survivor, that'd be a question.
Yeah, I don't. That's good. It's a good question. I'm not sure.
I think they'd have to.
Probably do.
Yeah.
Probably do.
So Charlie says you tell the wrong person the wrong thing at the wrong time, and this game could flip. So I thought that was kind of a bit of a foreshadowing at that point. I thought it was going to be Charlie's might be going home now.
Yeah. Or what I was thinking of is I wonder if Charlie's going to screw up in the season finale and tell the wrong person the wrong thing and get voted out.
Yeah. And everyone's basically saying there's no alliances, rather than we were just a group of people voting together. And I don't recall ever there being a season where there really hasn't been these big alliances, or if there they didn't edit it that way.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a very unique season in the sense that we've had a couple blind sides in a row where everyone bands together, and obviously it adds to the uniqueness that they tend to always have an idol in their pocket. But the funny thing is that the voting blocks don't necessarily know there's an idol every single time, right? Mm-hmm. They don't even know half the time that these people have idols.
Yeah, so, they're going to find out during the reunion that
I know.
He's going to go, by the way, I had an idol when I went home, and Hunter's going to say the same thing. Nobody knew Hunter had an idol. He didn't tell us.
I know. It's pretty insane when you think about it, like how, I guess luck or fate or whatever it is, like for some of these people, right? Like,
yeah. Something they did different this time is they kind of showed everybody's vote ahead of
Yeah,
time.
that's what I was going to bring up that I noticed, right? Like they showed everyone's vote. You knew who had the votes. The only thing you didn't know is if Q was going to use the idol or not. But then you did know it before Jeff starts reading. So I think it's the first time that I can remember in Survivor history where once Jeff starts reading the votes, you knew who was going home, like without a shadow of a doubt. And you're just looking at their faces, you know.
It was interesting the way everybody wrote Q's name different.
Yeah.
There was Q skirt, Q
skirt.
Tobias.
Yeah.
I like how like everyone's making up their interesting ways of writing Q's name.
Yeah.
So the viewers all know it's a matter of whether or not he pulls out an idol. Once again, we have a survivor going home with an idol in their pocket, making 5 of the 6 people in jury sitting there with idols in their pockets or left with idols in their pockets.
That's crazy.
Like you said, we need the idol manufacturer to beef up his game a little bit because.
Well, actually, I think those numbers are wrong. It's the people in Soda and Tevin are in the jury. They both don't. Jem was the other one that had the idol. She's not.
Okay, so she's not in jury. So 4 of the 6 people in jury, but 5 people went home this season. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
So last week you picked Q to go home,
and I bet a lot of money on it, didn't I?
You did, yes. You bet the farm on that one.
Yeah.
If only you had a farm. And
well, I was hoping I would get paid on this show. Is that happening?
Yeah, that's how it works. And then I picked Kenzie to go home, and I was wrong. So I don't know. I think it was interesting. I feel like we're watching the same show over and over again every week, though.
Yeah, and I was saying before, I think that might be one of the reasons why they just tried to switch it up a little bit by showing the votes, something different, so it doesn't seem like it's the same thing. But man, it's crazy. It's such a unique season, and like I was complaining about it over the last couple weeks. At this point, it's like I'm not even going to complain, but like future Survivor players, don't go home with an idol in your pocket. Like that's rule number 1. I've said right. Like,
I can guarantee you, if I was on Survivor and I found an idol, I'd be going home with an idol in my pocket. I wouldn't. I'm a hoarder. I save everything. I don't throw anything away. I might need it someday. That's my way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Dan, it's that time of the show.
Next time on Survivor.
Alrighty. So next time on Survivor, we're going to have 2 immunity challenges. Oh, by the way, they didn't have a next time on Survivor this week.
Yes, they did. I had it. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't. Maybe I nodded off for 2 seconds or something. I don't know. But we're going to have 2 immunity challenges next week, 2 tribal councils, and 1 fire baking challenge next week. So basically, each of the survivors are saying they want. Oh yeah, you're right. There was, because they showed us each one of them saying, "Yeah, I'm going to win." Like every single one of them, they showed, "Yeah, I'm going to win." I think next week. Oh, did you have a quote of the week this week?
My quote of the week was, again, a Ben quote when he said, "Jeff, I'm humming Pinball Wizard," which I thought was very funny as he's doing the little labyrinth thing.
I think mine was also from Ben, too. But it was one when he said, "Jeff, we got a show for you tonight." I think that was my quote. It gave Jeff a good chuckle. I think we already have next week's quote of the week based on the next time on Survivor. It's Liz saying, "Holy hot dog on a stick. This is crazy."
It's funny.
I think that's going to be mine for next week. They already showed it to us. So Q at the end tells Emily, "Get ready, baby. We're going to Applebee's, and we're going to get that appetizer plaza. Whatever you don't eat, I will." That's how I ended the show with Q. I really want them to give Liz a huge gift card in next week at the finale.
That would be funny.
Yeah. I hope that happens. So next week's the final week. I'm assuming it's going to be a 3-hour show.
I'm sure it will be. As usual.
So we may be releasing this show late next week because we got travel happening and stuff happening in our lives. So we might be recording late. So that means I might be leaving late. We'll do our best to get it out on time, which is the Sunday night into Monday morning release date. Predictions.
Well, listen, I said before, if Maria wins immunity this time, it's going to be very hard for her not to win. I would think that if she does not win, she's the one that's going to be voted out at the next tribal council. And if that happens, I'm going to go with Kenzie. I'll go with Kenzie as the winner. I think
Of the whole kit and caboodle.
if Maria loses immunity, that's the next one. I'm gonna go with Kenzie. I do think that Maria's gonna win the whole thing, though. If I had to put like the farm on it, I think Maria has a chance of winning the whole thing. But if she doesn't win the next immunity immunity necklace, it's kind of hard to tell. I don't think it's going to be Liz. I don't think it's going to be Ben, but I do think Liz and Ben will both be in the final 3.
Yeah.
And whoever's against them, and that means it's either Charlie or Kenzie, assuming that Maria goes home. And I think you'll see an upset with Kenzie beating Charlie in fire. That's just how I'm looking at it. I could be completely wrong.
Who beat who?
If Kenzie and Charlie in the fire making,
okay.
Someone versus Charlie, I should say, in the fire making, and I think that's how Charlie's going to go home, is with fire.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Maria doing the fire challenge, honestly, because they hinted to it, saying how she even makes fire well.
Yes, well, I don't think exactly. Like I said, if Maria makes to the final, she's gonna win. I mean, I think it's so obvious at this point.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out in just a few days.
One thing I want to say, if you do not follow these survivors on social media, you should, because there's interesting things that come out that don't spoil the game, but does make it seem like a nice story. Kenzie announced that she's about like 6 months pregnant right now, and she released pregnancy pictures. Which, think about that. She shows up for the finale. She's got a big belly. She wins $1 million. I think that would be a cool thing. Also, I don't know if you heard the rumors, but there's a lot of rumors out there that Tevin and Hunter are dating right now, and they actually both came out on social media denying the fact. But it's just like, but saying that they're actually very, very close at this point. So it's weird to see that, because Tevin and Hunter were not like a group, like that we saw.
Were they even in the same tribe at the beginning?
Let me see. I have to see my notes here. Tevin. Okay, it's funny how we don't remember this stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they were, right?
Okay.
Yeah, they were. They were both in Nami, the yellow tribe.
Okay. There's something there that wasn't there before.
Right.
Alrighty. Okay, looking forward to chatting with you next week, Dan.
Same here.
And with that, Ken? The tribe has spoken.
If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. Like the show and give it a thumbs up on YouTube, and hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss a new episode. Add a positive review on Apple Podcasts, and that will help us grow the channel. All logos, sounds, and music that are made by and for Survivor are owned solely by CBS Productions, Survivor Productions LLC, CBS Studios, Castaway Television, and Mark Burnett Productions, and are not, nor are they intended to be owned by The Solo Show podcast. We hope you'll join us for the next adventure on The Solo Show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.